Welcome to Vital Signs. We are here because we believe in sharing all things healthcare and wellness. What's new? What's disruptive? What can we do to be more educated and bring ourselves, our communities, our health into the next level? I'm really excited because today I have with us in studio Recovery Unplugged. So we're going to be talking about revolutionizing mental health and well-being in our communities and our world. But first, remember that this is not a substitute for medical advice. If you are having any challenges, please seek out your practitioner. If you would like more information on practitioners, you can always reach out. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Andrew and Joseph of Recovery Unplugged. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So, you are revolutionizing mental health, wellness, and treatment and care through music. What's that about?
Well, let me show you real quick. Sé que hayas nacido en la cara buena del mundo. Yo nací en la cara mala, llevo la marca del lado oscuro y no me sonrojo si te digo que te quiero y que me dejes o te deje. Eso ya no me da miedo, había sido sin dudarlo la más bella de entre todas las estrellas que yo vi en el firmamento. ¿Cómo ganarse el cielo cuando uno ama con toda el alma? Ves el cariño que te tengo, no se paga con dinero. ¿Cómo decirte que sin ti muero y no me sonrojo si te digo que te quiero y que me dejes o te deje? Eso ya no me da miedo, había sido sin dudarlo la más bella de entre todas las estrellas que yo vi en el firmamento.
Wow, you gave me chills. Chills. That was phenomenal. There was so much emotion behind that. Can you kind of share the story behind why you shared that song in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're talking about being disruptive in the mental health space, right? And for me personally, right, I'm a person in long-term recovery. I struggled with addiction for many years. And during my addiction, I was very close with my grandfather, who was also struggling with Alzheimer's. And unfortunately, he passed away just before I got sober. And so he was never able to see me as a happy, healthy, whole human being. And I struggled for years to heal that wound, to kind of rectify that relationship that I had with the memory of my grandfather. And one day that song came on randomly on the radio and reminded me so much of him because it was one of his favorite songs. And it took me from my higher level memories of surface level stuff into these deeper memories. It brought me back to a place where I remembered not just that he had a mustache, but what it would feel like when he would give me a kiss on my cheek and his mustache would scratch me, and what it felt like to be in his presence. And through this magical moment with that song, I was able to heal this wound that traditional therapy, 12-step recovery hadn't been able to heal for me.
Wow, that's powerful. And so I've still got chills. It's crazy. You've taken that into your treatment and you've incorporated music and therapy. What is that like? How does that go? How is that working for you and your clientele?
Well, what we found is that, most people when they're seeking recovery end up with something like 6 instances of treatment before they attain a lasting recovery. And most treatment programs that we find in the United States are very similar, very shades of kind of the same thing with a little flavor thrown in there. So clients that come to us are looking for something revolutionary. They're looking for something different. They're looking for a new hope that something can be different this time. So we've taken music and incorporated it into, using it as a catalyst and using that healing power to make all these other modalities of treatment to enhance them and to bring a brand new powerful experience to our clients. And not just in a way where we play guitars one group a day or play some music, but where it's incorporated into every step of what we do, from the first phone call a client reaches out to Recovery Unplugged all the way up until their discharge plan, where we're giving them what we call musical prescriptions, where they've got these playlists as far as, how am I going to handle anxiety? Well, I've got this playlist of songs that I know help me personally with my anxiety, and so on and so forth.
And music is a universal language.
Everywhere you go. One of our leaders talks about how, the first music we hear is our mother's heartbeat when we're in the womb. So we really are programmed to use music to tap into some really deep and powerful things within us.
That's so fantastic. And so you are really running this ship, Andrew. Like, how did this come to be? Like, what started it, and how are you revolutionizing therapy in this world?
Well, it's definitely not something that I thought I'd be involved with. I'm not a musician myself. And so years ago, my wife and I were helping several family members that were battling mental health and addiction. We were in and out of different treatment centers that we were both, paying for. And so, the culmination of just the revolving door that wasn't working culminated with one of our family members being arrested, another one, ODing, living. And so I was introduced to a gentleman that helped create the mental health and drug court system so people would get treatment instead of jail. And so the idea there was that, most people that are battling, mental health issues and addiction, they're not bad people, they're not criminals, they're just, struggling. And so when we met, he had this idea of using music as a catalyst for therapy and didn't know how to take it to the next level. And so I came in, and the original idea was for us just to have a small, 20-bed facility in Fort Lauderdale to help my own family members. I had made the joke that it was cheaper for me to open up my own treatment center than keep paying for other ones.
I don't doubt that.
And originally it was, but then once I saw the transformation with our own family, once I saw people actually getting better in a way that I'd never seen before, I gave up everything else I was doing, to do this full time. And we started in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and then soon, once we had that, working the way that we wanted to, said, okay, music, we're going to go to Austin, and that's how we met, Joseph originally, and then from there Nashville, Music City, and we also have DC metro area in Virginia, Southern Jersey, South Carolina, and so over the last decade, it's been a journey and trying to help as many people as we could. We focused only on the addiction world at first, and then we saw through COVID how many people were struggling with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and trauma. And so now that we have a model that we understand works, we have a 7-year outcome study from Nova Southeastern University showing why what we're doing is working better than most things out there. We've now added to what we did in the addiction side to also the mental health side.
And, truly, music as an icebreaker to kind of, ease into conversation, because sometimes when we are dealing with mental health issues, I have a lot of that in my families and friends as well. And so it's been a part of my life, and I'm a big advocate for mental health. Everyone here knows that I'm a huge donor for nonprofits in that space. But the real thing that strikes me is music as a universal language breaks down the initial barrier and allows people to get vulnerable because they're feeling the same way when the music goes through. So does that help initially build the rapport that lets in the other modalities that ultimately result in the awesome success that you're having?
So 100%, that's exactly the original intent, is to break down defenses and build rapport. And so when I first heard the concept, our other founding partner, Richie Supa, who had toured for 40 years with everyone from Aerosmith to writing songs for Hall & Oates and other amazing groups, he came up with the original concept called Recovery Unplugged. And he had this idea of using music in detox centers to connect to people, to break down that initial defense. And so that was the original impetus of how this started. And then we took that to the levels that we're at now.
And when I was talking earlier about how it's incorporated into everything, it really is. So one of the things that we do right off the bat to start to build rapport, because you're exactly right, that's one of the first benefits of using it. is we ask clients before they come in, what's your favorite song? Who's your favorite artist? What's your favorite genre? So if you tell me, my favorite artist is Patsy Cline, right? Well, when we come to pick you up from the airport and we've got you in the office doing your initial intake paperwork, we're going to be playing Patsy Cline. And we're not going to blast it and be like, hey, you said you like... No, we're just going to have it on because that music that you love, that you're familiar with, is going to lower your cortisol levels, right? So those stress hormones are going to go down, and it's going to start generating oxytocin, which helps you to start to build some rapport with the staff member. At the same time that we're showing you that we're trying to customize treatment for you. And when we're talking about something like addiction, it's an equal opportunity offender, right? So when I look at our client population, white, black, brown, rich, poor, high socioeconomic, low socioeconomic, educated, uneducated, it truly is a melting pot. And when you have that kind of group of people, sometimes it can be hard to find a unifying experience, with so many different backgrounds. But music is universal.
I absolutely love that. Unfortunately, we do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.